are less than a week away from marking 22 years since life in America changed forever on September 11th, 2001. On that fall morning, terrorists hijacked 4 planes, crashing 2 of them into the World Trade Center Twin Towers. A third flight crashed into the Pentagon, and a 4th flight, United Airlines Flight 93, flew in the direction of the Capitol, but the passengers retaliated, forcing the hijackers to crash near Shanksville, Pennsylvania. Retired U.S. Navy Captain Toti was on duty at the Pentagon at the time of that attack. He was presented with the Legion of Merit for services rendered on 9/11, and he joins us now. I want to just thank you for joining us this morning. On a personal note, this continues to be a tough topic for me, sir, so I appreciate you taking the time to share with me why you want our viewers to understand why it's important that we remember 9/11. And I have to ask you, what do you remember most about that day?
Well, Nick, and thank you for your Army service, by the way. I know it affected you personally. The thing I remember the most about it was the noise, the sights, the completely immersive reaction when I arrived at the point of impact within about 5 minutes of when the plane hit the building. We were at first outnumbered by the number of casualties. You know, in the Navy, when you're on a ship and a casualty occurs, you can't call the fire brigade. You are the fire brigade. We're trained to kind of run to the point, to the scene of the casualty. And my training kicked in, and that's what I did. But we were completely overwhelmed in, I'd say, the first 20 minutes of the event, to the point where we're looking for help from wherever we could find it.
And part of that feeling overwhelmed had to also be because none of us knew exactly what was happening during that time. There's just a lot of confusion. There's not much information. I know that you have called the attack on the Pentagon the forgotten 9/11. Why do you call it that, and help people at home understand why?
Well, the New York events deserve the recognition they're getting. But people, when I say that I was in the Pentagon on 9/11, I'm usually met with a kind of a epiphany. Oh yeah, a plane hit that building too. And that's really what caused me to start saying that, you know, people do forget about 9/11. You know, I am grateful to filmmakers and documentarians for making, for example, the 9/11 One Day in America documentary that's streaming this month on Disney+. But that's a 6-hour documentary, and in it, they devoted only 7 minutes to the Pentagon, reinforcing my notion that the Pentagon is the forgotten 9/11.
Captain Toti, I have tried to have this conversation with friends and other veterans, and one explained to me, they said, well, Nick, you know, because that was a federal building, people don't have the same emotional connection that the plane that went down in Shanksville or the planes that went into the towers. And what I try to press upon them is that we all have an emotional connection. And I feel so bothered by this shift as of late, where it seems like it's almost just mentioned in passing. I can remember, and I know that you can too, when we would stop and we would read the names of the victims, and it was across all broadcast channels, and we don't seem to do that anymore. I know that there are plans to build the 911 Pentagon Memorial Visitor Education Center, and that seems to be gaining momentum. There will be a meeting to discuss that project. What are your thoughts about that project?
Yeah, well, obviously, I believe the project should go forward. You know, it's been over 22 years. It's 22 years. It's about time we start thinking about things like that. You know, we've gone from the point in this nation where we said, you know, 9/11, it's too soon. We can't talk about it. And we've gone directly to the point where we've forgotten about it. And we've forgotten how much the country came together in the days following 9/11. We were so proud that the country came together in ways that hadn't happened since December 7th, 1941. And how sad it is that the country is now again so divided that you know, it's as if we've forgotten all the lessons of 9/11. And I hope it doesn't take another 9/11 for folks to understand what's important about our country and that this can happen again.
Captain Toti, I think that the days after 9/11 just reminded us how we're all so connected. I remember President Bush standing there talking about he hears you. I remember just the feeling of being so connected to this country, the oath that I swore to defend the Constitution, and I know you had to feel the same. What is our responsibility now? How do we let future generations know about the events of 9/11 and why it matters?
Why it matters is we're not invulnerable to attacks on our homeland. We used to be in a situation where we were protected by these two great oceans. That's no longer the case. Even a terrorist with rudimentary technology can attack us on our homeland. I remember I'd had an association with a group of World War II heroes who survived the sinking of the USS Indianapolis. And after I got home that night on 9/11, I got calls from some of them who said, "You got too close to us and you were hit by a kamikaze just like us." It hadn't occurred to me until that moment that what these terrorists did was borrow from Japanese tactics from World War II and turn airplanes into suicide platforms. They didn't invent these tactics. They leveraged them for their own devices. This can happen again, and if it happens in a future war with a country like China, it can be really bad. We need to take the external threats to the United States very seriously, and I believe we've become way too complacent in our understanding of what the vulnerabilities are for the United States.
And why global politics actually matter, and our place in the standing of the world, and why we need to support our allies and keep any conflict off of our shores. It's been 22 years since the attacks of 9/11. How has the Pentagon changed, and the people with whom you used to work in this space?
I first returned to the Pentagon after I was transferred in 2002 on the 10th anniversary of 9/11. Then I drove up to try to attend the ceremony, and I didn't have an invitation. It was by invitation only. And ironically, of course, I felt like I belonged there at that 10th anniversary. And I went to one of the guards who was keeping people out, and I said, I was there on 9/11. And he said, "You were here?" They had already forgotten. I mean, there was almost nobody still working in the Pentagon who worked there on 9/11. So they happily let me in. It was a very gripping moment for me because I lost a lot of friends. I was lucky enough to survive, but I've gone back periodically since then. It's changed a lot. Even people in the Pentagon, I fear, have forgotten about what happened that day. So I think we need to do everything we can to remind all Americans about how important that day was in the inflection point in United States history.
Captain Toti, I want to thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. Thank you for sharing your story, and I look forward to meeting you one day, sir.
You too, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.